The DuSABLE Museum of African American History was founded in 1961 by lifelong teacher and artist Dr. Margaret Burroughs, along with her husband and other leading Chicago citizens. The DuSABLE is one of the few independent institutions of its kind in the United States. The focus of this stop on our virtual tour is to learn about systemic racism, and also to learn about the important mission of the DuSABLE, which is to promote understanding and inspire appreciation of the wide-ranging achievements, contributions, and experiences of African Americans. Because when telling the story, the history of America, you can't pull away the black thread and still have America. All of the DuSABLE's diverse exhibitions are curated to help reveal and to honor the multitude of skills, achievements, artistic contributions, and diverse experiences of African Americans, with collections that include historical materials, videos, artifacts, and so much more worth knowing about. As mentioned before, Margaret Burroughs and her husband Charles co-founded the DuSABLE Museum of African American History, starting in the living room of their house located on Chicago's South Side in 1961. And Margaret was rightfully proud when she stated that we're the only museum that grew out of the indigenous black community. We weren't started by anybody downtown. We were started by ordinary folks. In 1973, the museum moved to its current location in Washington Park in Chicago, and today is the oldest museum of black culture in the United States. When Margaret Burroughs died in 2010, U.S. Representative Bobby Rush, a Chicago Democrat, described Margaret Burroughs as a keeper of history, a historian for a lost and often disregarded people, and a champion of those whose voices often go unheard. Margaret was a prolific and highly respected artist in her own right. In one of her most highly regarded linocuts titled Birthday Party, both black and white children are seen celebrating. The black and white children are not isolated from each other. Instead, they're intermixed and mingling together around the table waiting for cake. An article published by the Art Institute of Chicago offered the following quote from Burroughs. "Art," she said, "is communication. I wish my art to speak not only for my people, but for all humanity." The Birthday Party puts into visual form Burroughs' philosophy that, as she often said, the color of skin is a minor difference among men, which has been stretched beyond its importance. Throughout the DuSABLE Museum, there is a wide variety of works by black artists and black craftspeople, all of which you can see and learn more about by going to the DuSABLE website and clicking on the individual images. But we're showing them to you in this quick presentation just to give you an overview. Of the rich variety of offerings and expressions of creativity that can be seen and appreciated and learned from, that visually represent the challenge of systemic racism while also highlighting the resilience of America's black community to forge ahead with good lives and substantial solutions that could easily be working for everyone, for all of us. The museum is also an enriching source of meaningful, timely, and relevant online events to increase understanding about the many ongoing challenges presented by systemic racism. So you'll probably want to sign up for the museum's newsletter, check out their social media presence, or maybe even become a member of the museum. All right, to expand and deepen our understanding about systemic racism, we're going to change our focus, but not our purpose. You can watch a clip on YouTube from a 1992 episode of The Oprah Winfrey Show. In 30 quick minutes, good white people learn through their direct experience how racism happens and how it is that good white people barely notice or feel systemic racism's pervasive and damaging impact on black people in America. In this 1992 Oprah Winfrey episode, award-winning anti-racist activist and educator Jane Elliott taught the audience a tough lesson about racism by demonstrating just how easy it is to learn prejudice and to become a prejudiced person ourselves. You can watch as the audience, totally unaware that an exercise is underway, gets separated into two groups based on the color of their eyes. The blue eyes group was discriminated against, while the people with brown eyes were treated with respect. Jane Elliott first started this exercise in her third grade class back in 1968, the day after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You can go to YouTube and type in Jane Elliott to see many more of her exercises with different age groups. Powerful stuff. Not easy, but important. And on this last stop of today's virtual tour is a link to a clear and helpful explanation about the main components of systemic racism, which are internalized racism, interpersonal racism, and institutional racism. They all combine to create the systemic racism that is all around us, all of the time. The link to this clear explanation about systemic racism is clearly marked in your supplementary resources. That's it for this part of our virtual tour. We created this overview to provide you with a time-saving way to gain a clear sense of all the knowledge and teaching resources that are readily available to you on the subject of systemic racism, and specifically at the DuSABLE Museum of African American History. Hopefully you'll sign up for their newsletter and check out the museum's social media presence to continue your understanding on that essential topic of systemic racism. We are so grateful that you're here learning with us. So grateful. See you soon for more learning and engagement.